It now being 5:30, I will call the June 3rd Board of Selectmen meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded for cablecast and YouTube presentation by Area 58 Community Access Media. The video of this meeting is not to be considered an official public record. The approved minutes of the meeting will serve as the official record of the proceedings. Our first agenda item is the Town of Plympton Cable Television License Renewal. And I'm going to ask Mr. Russo if he would chair this piece of the business.
Glad to do it. Thank you, John. So thanks everyone that's here. This is indeed the town's 10-year Comcast cable television license renewal, part of that process. And part of that, the license renewal, Mass General Law requires us to hold this public proceeding to ascertain the community's interest and needs for continued cable. We did publish in the local newspaper, the Plympton, Halifax, Kingston Express, on May 10th and May 17th, a notice of this meeting, and so here we are. Because it's a public hearing, we do stuff a touch more formally than we might otherwise, and that starts with me needing to read the next document. Am I speaking loudly enough?
It's a little light.
Little light? All right, we'll try harder. All right, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Plympton public hearing on Comcast cable license renewal. This hearing is part of the cable license renewal process to ascertain the community's cable-related needs. Notice of this hearing was, as I noted, published in the local newspaper on 2 successive weeks, and also on the town website. Copies of the legal advertisements are here in my pile of material, and they're entered into the public record. By way of background for the public, Comcast Town of Plympton cable television license expires in June 30th, 2025. Federal and state law require the holding of a public ascertainment proceeding, including this hearing. We will receive comments and testimony from the public and interested persons about what cable-related needs and interests are important to the public and about how Comcast has performed under its existing license. Before proceeding to the public comment, I would like to thank the members of the public, Area 58, the nonprofit TV studio, and Comcast for their participation and assistance in the ongoing license renewal proceedings. It's actually, I will say parenthetically, a surprisingly complex process. In this proceeding, we are open to accepting comments about the cable-related matters of interest to the public, including, but not limited to, customer service, license administration, the town's needs regarding the local studio, community programming, and public educational and government access, and maintaining support for the town's video origination capabilities. Please keep your comments, those that are going to make comments, to 4 minutes or less. In fact, it might often be that 4 sentences will be sufficient. Note that this process of ascertainment of cable needs and interests will remain open until further notice, so that even after the closing of tonight's hearing, the public will have further opportunity to submit written comments into the license renewal record for consideration by the town in its licensing process. One more paragraph. Before proceeding with the public comment period, if Comcast representative Michael Gala is here, and he is in fact right there, please let us know if you are present, and maybe you want to introduce yourself, sir?
Sure.
Yeah, up to the laptop, I think, so that the microphone is picking up.
I can wave to Bill while I'm at it. Hi, Bill. Thanks, Mike Gallo. I am the Senior Government Affairs Manager for Comcast that covers Plympton and the South Shore and the Cape and the South Coast. And looking forward to working with the town and Bill, or a committee that you might have set up to go through our license process again. Bill and I have done a lot of licenses together. We have a pretty good system and a pretty good rapport with each other, and I think we'll get something that's very successful for both Comcast and for the town. So I'm looking forward to starting the renewal process as you guys are tonight. I'm here to listen. This is obviously your ascertainment hearing for you guys to ascertain your needs and what you're looking for, and then we take that back and we'll come up with a really good license that works for both parties. So thank you for having me.
Glad you're here, Mike. I remember you 11 years ago, and we went through the same process. I think your title was much less weighty back then.
It might have been, yeah. Thank you.
So thank you. And along the way, if there are questions or comments or anything you want to add, please jump right in.
She's saying she's having trouble hearing
The board?
the board.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll turn it over then to, are you ready to turn it over and then people can go up to the laptop so that the transcription person can hear everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So let's see. All right, so at this time, we will proceed with going right to the public comment process, starting with those, well, on the sign-up sheet. We don't have a sign-up sheet, but we're going to make sure everyone is properly identified. We'll leave time to hear from other persons than the persons we've arranged with, so that anyone will have a chance to speak if they'd like. Again, thank you all, and let us proceed with the hearing. So when people are going to speak and offer their comments, we do ask they come up to the laptop. Our technology is a little awkward at this point. The vast majority of Board of Selectmen meetings are either done in person or remotely. We rarely do this hybrid thing, so we're still working on it. So if it's a little awkward tonight, we appreciate your patience. As people come up to speak, please identify yourself with your name, your address, and any town government affiliations. So, onward with the comment period. One last thing, I guess, by way of context. Public access TV in Plympton is funded by a small percentage of revenue from the local cable company. The funds are used to establish a cable studio, which we call Area 58 Community Access Media. It's a nonprofit organization, and the way these things are set up is that it is separate from town government and therefore has more freedom from perceived or real oversight. The center is used to train citizens, to offer access to equipment, and to offer access to general broadcasting. We're going to call up the people that would like to make comment, and we're going to start with Marilyn Brown. Marilyn, if you'll come up to the laptop, please.
My name is Marilyn Brown. I live at 46 Elm Street and I'm on the Finance Committee. But in a former life, I ran a lot of adult groups, and I know how critically important it is for people to be informed and not isolated. And I think that this program offers that opportunity for people who may be ill or weather-related incidents and they can't get out. And I think it's just very critical that we keep it up and keep people informed. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. Let's see, Kimberly Russo.
Hi, Kimberly Russo, 140 Palmer Road. History. You just need this for history these days. We'll have it forever. And when the writings you can't see, you'll be able to see this. We use it to settle a lot of arguments in town. Just look and see what happened. So I think we need it.
Thank you. Colleen Thompson.
Colleen Thompson, 192 Main Street, Director of Elder Affairs for the Town of Plympton and a member of the Town Properties Committee. I do believe that this is very important to the town. Most recently, we've had a Town Properties presentation on why we, what the Town Properties Committee does and why we believe we need a new fire station in town. Although it was well attended, there were many people who were not able to attend and did in fact watch it on Comcast. And we also recently held a candidates forum prior to town elections. And again, not everyone who wants to participate can go, and having Comcast as a format that they can touch is very helpful. Not everyone in the town, particularly the seniors, are computer agile. So being able to flip on their television and watch it is important. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Deb Anderson, please.
Deb Anderson, 49 Elm Street. I also own the little weekly newspaper in town, which we find useful. But I, as a publisher of that weekly newspaper, find Area 58 vital to my business. When I can't be in 3 places at once, thank God, Area 58 can be. And they can tape it, and I can refer to it, and I can get double-check quotes. It's an important adjunct for me in my business, and I hope that we have it forever.
Thank you. So let's see. What we'll do next is I'm going to see if Liz has any comments. We'll then see if there are other citizens commenting, and then finally the selectmen will have a chance. Do you comment?
Sure.
So, great.
So we have to get on there.
Elizabeth Dennehy, Town Administrator. I just want to say how vital the Area 58 recording and televising process is to the town. As previous speakers have noted, it gives us the ability to project what's happening in town at board and committee meetings out to the public when some of them might not be able to attend. And it's really just important about transparency. I think that that's the key to it, is maintaining that transparency across our town government. It improves credibility in terms of the boards and committees and the business that's being conducted. And we hope to negotiate a beneficial license renewal that's of benefit to the town and that's suitable for Comcast. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Are there other citizens that would like to comment? Okay, then we'll come to the selectmen. I'll let myself go first. The other selectmen will have a chance if they want to comment. Don't have to.
Do we have to get on there?
I would, so that the transcription person can get the testimony.
So I'm Mark Russo, one of the 3 selectmen. So I came up with 7 reasons that we need the cable studio and need cable broadcast capability. Number 1, we're a tiny town. Much of the work of town government is done by volunteers. We have some really talented people, but somewhat limited expertise in the area of broadcasting and publishing. So that's number 1. Number 2, Area 58 offers a wonderful training program in terms of cable programming, in terms of broadcast for people interested in this kind of stuff. We have a plethora of local talent to give them a hand. Number 3, a disproportionate percent of the population in town are elderly people, many of them with limited internet access. Cable becomes essential along the way. Number 4, maybe the most important of all, in the interest of promoting transparency and accessibility of town government, the recordings of local events and government events and the broadcasting of them are key. And I think I can speak for the Board of Selectmen, for all 3 of us, pride ourselves in our transparency, and that comes because of cable in Area 58. Number 5 is the opportunity for entertainment, preferably people that are entertained by programs designed that way. I think sometimes people are entertained by the game and the dynamic of town government, but however it is an opportunity to be entertained. Number 6, I can't read. A sense of community. This one's important, actually. Having cable, having the opportunity to attend these events, if not live or if not in immediate later on, ties the community together in a lot of ways. And then number 7, which is a little bit subtle, but maybe the most important, Area 58 is a shared service. It combines the activities, the cable access activities of Plympton, Carver, and Halifax. It is a beautiful example, and over the last 10 years, maybe one of the best examples of shared services and how dynamic that model can be, because in my heart of hearts, I ultimately believe these small towns that are so strapped financially, one of the major ways out of it is finding additional ways to share services. So I know I've gone over the 4 minutes, but I think Area 58 is an absolute exquisite model of shared services working well. So if my fellow selectmen have something to say, we'll offer them the opportunity.
You took it all. John Trainer, one of the selectmen, also sit on the Town Properties Committee. I support what Mark has said. We are a volunteer town. Last time I checked, we had 130 appointed or elected positions that were unpaid, with 60 people roughly filling them. So getting transparency so that people can dial in and find out what's going on is important, really important. We do need live broadcasting so that the seniors can watch it at an hour that's suitable for them, especially in the winter when seniors don't come out, and I'm one of them. It also helps us get it right. I think that's, in a small town, you hear lots of things. And having it on cable, if we can get it broadcast live especially, I think getting it right will make us all stronger. So I support it 100%.
Thank you, John. Yeah? You have anything to?
At the risk of sounding redundant, I mean,
Go for it. We love redundancy. We call it emphasis.
I like that. That's a little bit better than saying redundant. Dana Smith, Selectman. As I just mentioned on the way down here, to reiterate and also be a little bit redundant on both Mr. Trainer and Mr. Russo's comments, I think for one thing, this is a system that has worked for many years, and to me, there's no reason to change it. I think transparency is huge, and the ability for everybody to be able to participate, even if they're not in the room, and be able to have a record and be able to see what's going on is vitally important for what our town does. And this system has worked, so why change it? So I wholeheartedly support it going forward.
Thanks, Dana. All right, so I'm going to call on Rich Goulart next, the Executive Director of Area 58, and then we'll see if Mike Galla has any questions, and our Town Council, Bill August, may want to correct all the factual errors, any factual errors.
Hi, Rich Goulart, again, Executive Director of Area 58. It has been a pleasure to serve Plympton this past time since 2015, I think, something in that realm, 2015 or 16, right, is when Area 58 sort of got itself all together. I will say that in working on 2 other towns, getting them relicensed, Mike Galla has been exceptionally helpful and willing to hear the needs of the town, and I expect the same to be the case here. And it's always good to see Bill present. And we're just starting, really, in what we can do for the town. I'd really love to see more and more people really come in and do the public access of things, side of things, and really start producing their own programs on any of their own interests. We'll do everything we can to help you along the way. As for the government, we're here to do more if you want us to do more. Same with the schools. I know Liz and I are going to be talking a little bit about getting speakers in this room, which until tonight I didn't realize how dramatically you needed them, because it is a little bit of a cavernous room to try and hear people sitting down and not shouting at one another. Less of a problem in some other towns. They'll shout at each other more, which is one of the nice things about Plympton. I would say that the hard part is always getting people to realize that we're there and that we're out there and there for them. We do what we can to get things on YouTube, and a link to the channel, and also a link to our website and on the channel. But sometimes, particularly on the side of the public access, people don't realize what our availability is for them and what we're willing to do. And it's really an exciting aspect of what we do, that side of it. It's also where hopefully most of the entertainment comes from, though no guarantees on that. But that's really all I have to say. If anyone ever has any questions, if you go to area58.tv, you'll see the information where you can get in touch with me, and any of these people can give you that as well. I'm always available to anyone who wants to speak. And usually my cell phone is available too. So, did anyone on the board or anyone else have any questions for me at this point?
I have one, the live broadcasting.
Yeah.
How close are we to being able to do
The
that?
biggest thing we need to do is just secure the fact that the internet connection here is strong enough.
Okay.
Either through a dedicated IP or an increase in whatever service the town currently gets.
Can you do that for us?
I can't. You actually have to do that. It's within the town to do that.
So we need somebody who's skilled in that area.
No, it's just really a matter of changing what coverage you've got with Comcast.
Oh, okay. But as far as,
You don't happen to know.
Have fiber. We're on fiber, open Cape internet.
Okay, we'll just take a look and see. And honestly, I think we're capable of doing it now. We had tested it a while ago and everything seemed to go fine. The biggest problem you're going to run into is if a lot of people are drawing from the same internet source at the same time.
Here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There could be a rush through that, and it might clog up and slow things down. But for the most part, we've done it in all the other towns, and we haven't had in the other two towns,
Okay.
and haven't had a problem. I think we're ready to try it out whenever you want.
I would love it, and I think you can teach us a lot about how to go forward.
All right.
Is there a synergy with the school that we should be thinking about?
I don't know. Basically, what I need to have is them let us know things they'd like to be covered
Okay.
more. I know now on the Silver Lake side, what are they called now? The local scene in Plymouth does a bunch of that. We do the school committee meetings
Okay.
and share them with them. It might not be a bad idea I've reached out before, maybe if we can reach out, as the board can reach out and request some more of the stuff that they've filmed to be accessible to us to then put on the channel. It probably is available through the local scene's website, but I'm not sure about that. Beyond that, with the Dennett School, again, if the principal has anything he wants us to cover or anything like that, or the superintendent, we're more than willing to do it.
All right. I'm okay.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rich.
You're very welcome.
So we're wrapping up. Mike Galla, anything you want to add or questions? And then we'll call on Bill. you know.
I can figure that out, yeah.
Really just two comments with regard to the internet and the fiber. We're happy to work with the town to get whatever you would need
Gonna have to speak up.
Sorry. We're happy to work with the town to get whatever you need for any type of service to run what Rich would need. We do that with a lot of towns. We have a whole department that would handle that, so we can do that. The second thing on those lines, I heard a lot mentioned about seniors and access and that type of stuff, and I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have our Internet Essentials program, which is our low-cost internet program. We have 2 tiers, one for $9.95 a month and one that's a little higher, which offers 2 different speed tiers, but does...
Excuse me, could you speak up just a little bit louder? They cannot hear.
Sure. Does allow for... I could scream, too. It does allow for people to get access that qualify, that are lower income, and would be able to then be able to, probably have some level of access to Area 58 and their services and to any other services. So we do offer those, and we'll talk about, we do offer like a senior discount that we've done in a lot of communities and stuff like that, that we'll, Bill and I will discuss, or the town, Bill and I will discuss throughout these negotiations. So I just...
So are they all, these senior discounts and programs, are they all income-based?
Yes, they are income-based.
And how much, we have a lot of Yankee seniors that don't particularly want to open up their information to anybody.
There's certain requirements that are laid out if they're, they're on Social Security and other different affordable programs.
Okay.
I don't have the list obviously sitting in front of me, but I can provide that to Bill.
Great.
Bill might even have it from previous stuff, but it's not like, you don't have to open up, every access to what
Okay.
you have, but it would just be proving.
Just wondering how cumbersome it was.
It's not very cumbersome.
Okay.
Very much appreciate you coming down,
course.
especially with the technologic issues. So thank you very much, and we look forward to continue working, and then we'll see you again in 10 years.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll probably be grayer at that point.
I'm gonna go get the computer.
All right, so we're going to call on Bill. Liz is going to deal with the technologic aspect, if Bill has any comments.
Not very well, Bill. Can you speak as loudly as possible?
Can you potentially hear the question and relay it
Yeah,
to us?
you know what, let's do it this way. Do you have
Sorry,
anything
Bill.
you'd like me to relay to the board?
Rich, this is why you got to help us.
Thank the members of the Plympton community. That was really a tremendous turnout of people emphasizing the importance of programming and community building, and hearing that from so many people who are so involved really helps the town a lot, because we're in a negotiations process, and we're very grateful to Comcast for being supportive. But when we have this kind of participation and concrete examples of how this set fulfills town needs, and we really have the wind at our back and helping us move forward in the negotiations. I'm very grateful to your community, and particularly to Mark Russo and Liz Dennehy throughout the process.
Did you get that? He thanked Liz Dennehy. No, he
was a
thanked
long
everybody.
Pulling together the license draft, which will, subject to the Selectmen reviews and approval, be the platform for negotiations. So thank you, everybody. And our door is open and our ears are open. Very informal. If there are other needs identified, let us
Yes.
know so we can work those into the
He's thanking everybody, and he thought it was remarkable, the public turnout.
This must be amazing for an attorney with much to say and to speak it, and we not hear.
We should leave it the way it is.
The attorney mute button.
So I think we're going to wrap up this portion of our meeting, and then Mark and I will be back in touch with you to continue the process. But thank you for participating.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks so much. Nice job.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Michael Gala.
Any last comment?
He thanked you as well.
We very much appreciate
All right,
everything.
good night, folks.
Good night.
Thank you.
Everybody good? So we're going to close the public hearing. very much appreciate everyone showing up. I'm actually thrilled that the technology or the infancy of our technology showed up here because it shows what we need to work on. So even that's useful. And Mr. Chairman, I hand the reins back to you.
Okay, so we're off the public hearing.
We're off the public hearing.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mark. That was great.
I think
Thank you,
a
Liz.
fair number of people may want to leave at this point. Our feelings will not be hurt.
The next item we have on our discussion is departmental update by the town accountant. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Now, this looks like the normal meeting we have.
I'm the only one here. So just a very brief update. We're in our last month of fiscal '24, even though we don't officially close '24 until the middle of July. I've already sent out a first email to all department heads, letting them know that any invoices for fiscal '24 need to be received by July 15th. I've also let them know that it's really important for them to look at any past due amounts on their bills. I only pay current, so when they send me a bill, I can only pay what's due the current month. If they're carrying a past due balance, they need to look into that, find out what that is, and they need to get a copy of that bill that represents that portion. And so I've let them, reminded them that if that carries into '25, they can't then say, oh, this was supposed to be paid last January, and that just doesn't work. We just can't use their year's budget to pay their old bills. I've begun setting up FY25. Danny has put it up on the computer. There really isn't a lot I can fill in till we stop accepting things from this year. In other words, I can't update articles for next year unless we know what we've got left from this year. But I did set the special town meeting articles have all been done. So the CPC money has been put into a new article for the rec department, and the school money that was approved for the schools, both from the general stabilization and from their line transfer has been done. It's mostly, at this point, keeping a really close eye on things, checking dates on invoices and things like that as the month goes on. And then I'll be working closely with Liz and as far as line transfers. So there are some budget lines that we'll definitely need to do some transfers in. We'll have those two by the beginning of July.
Okay.
Second week of July, maybe, again, because they have till July 15th to return things. But we should have a really good feeling by the end of June of what's going to be short and where we're going to need to move money.
And how, for the reserve fund, when do you have to close that off? When will that?
That also has to be closed by the end of the
15th?
By the 15th.
Okay. And after that's done, bills are paid, transfers are made, how long does it take then to officially close the books?
It would be nice if it was really quick, but I can't actually completely close the books until DLS approves our balance sheets.
Right.
I would hope to have it done by September, but last year it was into October.
So when you say September to them, or they have approved it?
No, I'm hoping to have it approved by
Okay,
September.
okay, good.
Yeah, I'm hoping to really have it approved. This year, I mean, as you know, we've had a couple of years now where we've run into issues with free cash with them and coming to good numbers. If it happens again this year, I don't know. I'm going to have to go visit them if they're not going to come visit me and figure out, because I told them last year, I said, it's just not acceptable that, we're off so far for like 3-4 years in a row now.
Yep.
But I'm hoping
I
this
agree.
year will be a little better. The assessor situation with taxes that have been billed is much cleaner this year. So hopefully that will close out easily. Hopefully, I'm hoping.
Is there an area where you feel maybe you need some help? I mean,
No, but I do have a very good resource, Todd Hassett. He is first of all, my DLS rep loves him. So that's good because he listens to him, which he doesn't always listen to me. he's very willing whenever I need him. He comes out, even if it's just for an hour. In fact, I usually have to say, make sure you bill me, because he just says, oh, I'll just come out and help you.
Where does he come from?
He works at Lakeville. He actually works for probably about 6 or 8 different communities. Either
As a
just
consultant?
doing their end-of-year statements, or doing the accounting for them, or just consulting. He's very knowledgeable, and I have used him a few times.
So, one question, kind of
Sure.
much broader, and it's a project for a rainy day, but I remember maybe 2 or 3 years ago going to a Mass Municipal Association meeting, and there were a lot of vendors there for presentation software, financial presentation software, to be put up on the website, just pie charts and various other charts that make much clearer how the town is receiving revenue and how is it spending the money. Do we have, recognizing that this is a rainy day project, but do we have that capability? Does our software now have a capability for presentation?
Not really, no, it doesn't. Our software, I have to say, when I was first hired, and I was told that I was going to be working on a DOS financial system, I was a little nervous about it, but I do have to say it fits Plympton very well. It really does. I mean, they are, all you got to do is make a phone call there and they help you with whatever you need. Where if you move to a bigger software company that might have more, there might be something to do presentations besides the financial software, like a separate software,
Right.
which we could look into. But
I think
CDS does a great job with Plympton.
Danny at one point said that would be the solution, is to put a piece of software on top of the database that then does the presentation, financial,
stuff together.
so it's easy to understand. And
Right.
The thing that appealed to me on that, I mean, we have to be frugal. We don't want to be creating a whole bunch of other projects, both in terms of time, employees' time, and buying software. On the other hand, this thing about transparency and ways to make this understandable. I mean, we spend $14 million a year.
Yeah.
Citizen.
It's a good business.
Sounds like a lot of money, and their taxes are a lot of money, but, I mean, we squeeze every penny out of this we can. If we could present it in a more vibrant way, I think that'd be really helpful in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the weaknesses that we have is we don't have a technology person who can cover all the bases for us. And we never quite know which one to turn to and which one to say, okay, that makes sense, and we're not the people who are experts.
And that turns into an even bigger discussion, but I think you're exactly right, but I think we have issues. Actually, I think Dana said this last time with the town website, just not being for the next year's budget. I think next year's budget's going to be really tight, but one of the first steps in making this happen, we talk about it each year, we never kind of get it going,
Yeah.
is we just need to fund that position. And that might be one of those ones that a shared service, so sharing a person with 2 or 3 other towns.
Well, I think there's another avenue maybe too, is Silver Lake, that we could use their technology department, and we would become like a school, Town of Plympton. It would take a little different software, but that's what they're skilled in. So I think it's something to look at and see.
And we've probably expanded this beyond the range of the intended agenda item, but I think that's one of those priority items to work on over the next year, particularly aiming toward the budget next year, because that's the key to make this happen.
Yeah.
And would make life much easier for our staff as well.
Yep, I agree. Dana, you have?
I agree, but definitely something like that would be very advantageous. But again, keeping in mind fiscally where it ends up.
Yeah.
To hire somebody,
Yeah.
but at least somebody who could actually handle all of it as far as the different departments within and have accessibility to everybody in the departments. So,
Lisa, thank you. That was great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well done.
I'm sorry, Liz, did you have anything? Yep, okay. I know you know. Okay, the next item we have on our agenda is pricing for mosquito and tick control at town fields.
So I reached out to Oh Deer, and they provided me with pricing for mosquito and tick control both at Holt Field and at Harry Jason Park. So for Holt Field, we're looking at $252 each time they come out. And given the size of the field, they would recommend coming out bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly?
Yes.
So every other week?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you figure roughly twice a month, starting right away, and at least through August, that's a little over $1,500.
Okay.
I did check with the rec committee, and they would be very supportive if we were willing to do this for them. The Holt Fields is going to be heavily utilized and continue to be throughout the duration of the summer and even into the early fall, depending on how quickly they get the CPC project done.
Yep.
So that one is high on their priority list. The other one for Harry Jason, so that's obviously a lot more acreage. That one is $560 each time.
And how big is the acreage they're talking about?
They're basing it off of roughly 5 acres that they would spray. Because so it incorporates the parking area,
Yeah.
the soccer field, and then also going back even a little bit further, because a lot of people
Boy
walking.
Scout area.
Yep, and a lot of people walking dogs and
Yep.
things like that. They're not just staying restricted to the soccer field. So that one's obviously a lot more money.
What would that work out to be?
So roughly $1,600, $1,680 if they came once a month
Yep.
for those. I think it's important for the tick control if people are going to be walking
Dogs.
over there.
Yeah.
For the rec commission, that's not as high of a priority just because soccer season has wound down
Yeah.
for them. They would obviously be grateful for it if they're doing like a one-off event or something like that. But it's really Holt Field that's critical for them to have that done. So I just wanted to present you with the options.
No, that's good.
And I figured if we could, so they can get started right away.
I guess I'd want to talk to Recreation first. It seems to me we're going to have to do something so they're building that walking path. But we got to get it so it's a walking path that's usable by seniors, disabled people. I think that's really where we got to get to pretty quickly. But I don't know what the cost of that is. And it may be prohibitive, but it would seem to me if that was between the sports and that, we'd have to do whole field. We wouldn't have a choice.
Right.
Put in
The walking path, I mean, I know part of it is outlined a little bit in that CPC project, but as far as paving that, there are no plans to do that until we move forward more with the complex
Right.
here. So I think that that's a bit down the road as far as paving any sort of walking
I
path.
don't know if it has to be paved from, I mean, are there other surfaces that we
There's
could?
reprocessed asphalt, things like that you could possibly use.
They were
but it takes a
hoping
mess.
to have a substantial surface, and we were speaking about it. I was talking with Angelo Boccalini and Mark Riley,
Yep.
more in the context of just like timing, basically, of all these different projects and things that we have going on, and also in terms of that Ventrac machine.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
because the main feature for that is that it's like small
Yep.
plowing capabilities, but we sort of realized that having that be anything more than an unimproved surface at the present time seems unlikely. I think that that's a little further down the line.
Well, maybe we can get Town Properties Committee a little more involved. The problem is, we had a meeting last weekend on the library. The library got a grant, $20,000, so they had people come. I think there were 15, 20 people. And part of the grant is you have to have the public process of, what are your ideas? What would you like to see? And you can spend that 20,000 in a heartbeat. I mean, and we have all these different things coming at us, and it's trying to shape it into something where we can afford it and have it prioritized so it makes the most sense for the town. And not easy.
The other thing I just wanted to mention, and Dana and I spoke a little about this at the end of last week. So Plymouth County Mosquito Control can come and do the spraying from the back of a truck. It's obviously not the same substance that would come from Oh Deer, and they have a difficult time getting it to project out to the back of the property. Like, they have to be on a paved surface, so that's why they more or less drive by people's properties on a public way and blast it. Yeah.
So they just blast it down.
Yeah, and then the aerial spraying, we don't have control over requesting that. And even the Plymouth County Mosquito Control, they're fantastic to work with, but you're allowed a limited number of times. I think that Recreation was hopeful that a decision would at least be made for Holt Field, like, quickly, as the bugs are becoming an issue.
So, and the funding for that would come from?
We would have to pay for it out of our town building and maintenance, like the grounds article, if we were gonna pay for it, so.
So just my
I mean, they do have a budget as well, but I think that's already been kind of, they mapped out their budget pretty clearly when they presented it to me, so I don't see a lot of extra wiggle room in there to fund this.
So a couple pieces there. The whole field thing makes huge sense because there's a lot of people up there, and I think they need to be protected. So I'm totally in favor of that. Jason's a little bit tricky because if we do 5 acres, there's a whole bunch of other acres that we're not doing, and animals and human beings are just going to bring ticks back anyway. So I'm not sure we're buying very much protection for that. If I had my druthers, I think for the moment as a first step, sticking our toe in, Hoyt Field makes huge sense. So there's that piece. About the walking path, I'm glad for the chance to just kind of comment on that. I did make clear when the rec people were before CPC multiple times that I, for one, and others felt like the walking path was a really significant part of this project, particularly in terms of community building and all of that. Moreover, I am more than glad, if needed, to do fundraising to get that done. And I actually made clear to them that, I mean, I'm just me and one selectman, one member of CPC, but that that thing could and should be prioritized. In addition, as we do with all CPC projects, when we can use multi-funding sources, that's the way we leverage and get things done. So one more reason, Rec Commission has done really well with pays, doing private fundraising. I'm more than glad to help on the walkway, and I'd like to get that moving along.
All right.
I'm not sure paving fits with what we're looking for anyway. That the compacted stuff, I think aesthetically is much better, and really is for seniors, if they're really going to be walking in terms of jiggling old arthritic joints, something that has a little give to it makes sense. So
I don't have a dog in that, thing. As long as the disabled, somebody in a wheelchair can use it. That's
absolutely.
all.
But you might run into a problem if it's gravel,
Yeah.
for instance.
Yeah.
So you want to have something like Mark was saying with the compacted, so there's a little bit more stability to it. I would agree.
Did ask, sort of as a side, Ross McPherson. He sits on the Town Properties Committee, and he's been doing, in the construction business. I asked him if he would just go off and get us an idea of what it would take to have a walking path. So we got, I don't know whether it's 5,000, 50,000. I mean, it'd be nice to know where we could zero in.
I think that's such an integral piece in creating the sense of community, in creating a community activity center inside and outside.
I agree.
I don't want that to get on the back
Okay.
burner too much.
Okay.
I definitely don't want to wait until we have a master plan, because the way master plans go, we measure, the delivery date on those in
years.
sometimes. So,
So do we want to go ahead with whole field as far as the spraying, using Oh Dear?
I'm glad to do that.
And you think we have the,
I think that that would be worthwhile, that
Okay.
it's affordable, and then maybe we hold on Harry Jason for now.
I think that's wise. So I'll make a motion that we go forward with Oh Dear by twice a month. How long do we want to run it through?
I think at least through August.
Okay.
Maybe even early September.
Okay.
Maybe September, just while you're voting on it, why don't we give if you could do the go-ahead through September.
And the 1,500 is, you think?
That's through August, so tack on another 504 to that.
So call it 2,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we go with Oh Dear for $2,000 to have it done twice a month through the first part of September.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz, that's good. Yeah, I feel good. And you'll let Recreation know that we're...
Yes.
Great. Okay. Warrants paid, Bree.
$48,419.86.
And what? Any big things in there, I hope?
No vacations. There is a, gosh, if I could flip this through. This did include, the townhouse roof.
Oh, okay,
Running, so
okay.
we paid out something that,
We have to check whether we have to do warrants paid. We've got a $14 million budget, and we talk about,
So it was part of that Municipal Modernization Act several years ago, and it made it so that you didn't have to go through all the specifics. They tried to streamline it. I'm wondering, though, if there's something, they're working on something now called the, it's something like the Municipal Empowerment Act.
yeah.
I'm wondering if there's anything in that.
Well, maybe you can follow that, because it just takes up time and it doesn't have much meaning. And Bree would like to see it go too. All right, Town Administrator's update.
So we're working with Old Colony Planning Council on a road safety audit for the intersection of Route 58 and Center Street. So they're looking into that. They've done some preliminary traffic counts and things of that nature. So more to come on that. We have,
You got a time estimate for that? You think that'll be another month or what?
I think as far as getting it off the ground, we'll have something within the next month, but
Okay.
most of those transportation-related projects, some of them sit on that TIP, the Transportation Improvement Programming list,
Okay,
sometimes they sit on that for decades,
yeah.
so we'll see.
It's a
But
dangerous intersection.
this is a good first step in
Okay.
any event,
Okay.
as far as them doing that for us.
That's
And
it.
it puts us on record with Mass DOT that we think that the intersection is problematic and needs to be examined, so.
Good.
And getting worse all the time.
Absolutely.
It is dangerous.
It is.
That's high priority.
Even with the clearing in the corner,
Yeah.
which you would think would have helped a little
Yeah.
bit, but I mean, it's still on the other side, heading towards Halifax, it's definitely more,
he's putting a building there.
so,
It's gonna be a building in that corner. Clear cut it, put a
Right.
building.
So there's that. The Green Communities grant application that I had applied for is still pending. They asked for some supplemental info, which our vendor has since provided to the state. And just to refresh your memory, that is to finish out the work on the library heating system. And the grant application is for $241,123. So that would be fantastic if we get it.
Wow.
If we don't, then we will be applying immediately for the next funding cycle to do the infrared heaters in the garage bays at the highway department. That's our
Okay.
next project that's kind of waiting in the wings.
One of the items that came up at the library meeting we had said was lighting for the library out in the parking lot. And
I wonder if we could do something with
would that fall under green community?
It depends.
Okay.
I know that sounds very non-committal, but it's the truth. It depends on a wide variety of factors. Like sometimes there have been some projects that have been approved and fit into their buckets, so to speak, that are kind of unlikely. And then other times, like we had a big plan one year to replace all of the aging kitchen equipment at Dennett,
Yep.
more energy efficient, and for whatever reason, that was a
Yeah.
big no can do, even after, but they funded other things, like they allowed us to get some energy efficient appliances for the fire department, and even for this building, we were able to get a refrigerator and some
Yep.
different things. So sometimes it's not always obvious, but I can definitely put that on the list.
Talked to Mike Slauson, and John Williamson was at the meeting too, and
Okay.
so we sort of,
I've looped Ross McPherson into the Green Communities process.
great.
Just because his expertise, he actually had me make a few different adjustments to this application that he thought would make it more
Have a lot of,
beneficial
I have a
as
lot
far
of trust
as
in
state
him.
review and
You know what?
everything.
It's a good guy.
Very good guy.
So that's that. We're working on year-end closeout and reconciling some of the ARPA projects and things like that to get everything where it's supposed to be. And I already sent the board an email the other day, but just to formally announce it, our earmarks that Senator Moran worked with us on, those are being approved. So there's $36,725 for another rooftop HVAC unit at Dennett. So they have 6 units in total. We've replaced a couple, but eventually, like, all of them need to be
Yeah.
replaced. So we're trying to do them one at a time.
Great work, great work.
Yeah, one was done with funding that State Rep Kathy Lenatra got secured for us in a prior year, and then we were able to fund another one actually through COVID funds. So that's moving forward, as well as $5,282 towards that first year lease payment on the new police cruiser.
Right.
So if you recall, at town
Yep.
meeting, we approved entering into the lease, but we did not specify a dollar amount, and we said that it would be other grants. This is part of those other grants.
So are we going to see Senator Moran before she,
I hope so.
I think, it'd be nice to say thank you.
I really like her. She's
Yeah.
done a lot for
She has.
Plimpton.
Yeah. And I know she's going off to another position, but be nice
Yes,
to
I
say
believe
thank
she's
you.
running for a county position down the
I
Cape.
think it's, yeah,
But she's
county
been a-
register.
She's been a
Registrar.
fantastic resource for us, so I'll see if I can get us added onto the stop list.
Great.
And that concludes my updates. And I do not have anything in correspondence, and I don't believe Bree does either.
Nope. Okay, great. So we have the minutes from 5:20.
Didn't get anything back from you?
I didn't see anything that yeah, it was fine.
Good enough.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of May 20th as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're on to raves. You want to go first? Who is?
So two, town administrators that can do correspondence and their town administrator report from a Post-it note this big. That's like amazing.
My Cliff Notes.
The other one, a little broader, it's sort of as a subcontext that came up through the evening, is transparency and civility in town government. It's got what got me started 11 or 12 years ago, and I'm thrilled that that subcontext continues, that we continue to make progress on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Boy, we've got communications that's been the area we never quite get enough to make it, we can reach some people, and then there's a whole community that we somehow haven't been able to reach. So the more we can do transparency, great.
And at some point, I mean, we can be transparent, and at some point, they have to come
Yeah,
to
they
us.
have to help us, yeah. So I have a rave for the Memorial Day Committee. Great job. Nice turnout. Turned out just wonderful. So far, all the feedback I've heard has been very positive. So looking forward to next year. Dean?
Thanks.
Well, kind of to go off of yours too, I was going to go with the Memorial Day Parade since we both did it this year, so.
Yeah.
And being my first one, I think it's a great event. And as I've mentioned a couple of times, I think it's one of those things that keeps the community of Plympton to be what it is. I mean, to see everybody that was out on the sides and, participating, being there, all the kids, everything else, it's just a great event. It's kind of like what I talked about having the, Santa on the Green being something that was very unique to our town. It's great to see that for Memorial Day, and obviously to recognize what that day stands for. And as we had discussed too, maybe talking about some of the other people who may be joining the services and so forth too, so. But a great event, it's a fantastic event, and again, great job once again. That's what I got.
Great. So, being 6:30, I'll make a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. The next meeting is June 17th at 5:30 PM. And at July 8th, our following meeting, we will be starting at 2 o'clock to try a pilot program. And we'll run that through the summer and then reconvene in September at 5:30 and discuss it. So I'll make a motion that we adjourn the Board of Selectmen meeting.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Great job, thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Right.